Wang Bin says that even though he's a child, in this world he is a man, and with this weapon, he will protect his brothers and sister. The boy then asks Miao if he can keep the weapon, and she authorizes it. Wang Bin says that tomorrow his brother Nam will start practicing with him, and in her mind, Miao says he is so generous that he can easily give away weapons that can save his life, and he wonders who he is. On the second day, after breakfast, Wang Bin, Guan, and Miao headed to the main camp of the Crazy Shark Gang. Since Miao was more familiar with the east side, they reached the building near the headquarters of the Crazy Shark Gang without much difficulty. However, their security was tighter than they had thought, so the best chance would be to launch a surprise attack. Wang Bin comments that only a few of them had guns in their hands, while others had only knives and sticks. In response, Miao says they will shoot first at those who are armed. A gang member tells the others to go take care of their needs and return, but he ends up being hit, causing everyone to spring into action as they are under attack. Another member is hit, and Wang Bin quickly pulls the girls back, warning them that if they don't calm down, they'll end up dead. Now that they've completed the mission, Wang suggests going and causing some trouble for the Flyer Eagle gang. Changing scenes, we see corpses on the ground, and the gang leader is very angry about what has happened. A gang member remarks that the Giant Bear and Red Tiger gangs are at war, so the attack must have been from either the Fly or Eagle gang, as they are the only ones bold enough to attack them. The leader tells them to shut up as something seems very suspicious. He comments that the Flyer Eagle gang would never attack them to start a war and suspects someone else is trying to provoke conflict between them this time. He then tells them that the most important task now is to investigate what's happening in the war between the Tiger Red gang and the Giant Bear gang. Bile's task is to take someone to see if there's any force outside the city. Moreover, he must recall everyone as they cannot let small groups wander around and suffer more losses. Finally, Xing's brother says that while the Tiger Red gang and the Giant Bear gang are destroying each other, he can seize the opportunity to conquer the Flyer Eagle gang, and as for the other, he will deal with them slowly. We are shown another gang, and Ricardo Milos also appears, but another desperate man appeared, and he says that a post is on fire. Another man is seen finished on the ground, and now they have another weapon. Miao is quite surprised that people from the Crazy Shark gang and the Flyer Eagle gang are so weak. Wang comments that they are used to not being attacked because they think they are too strong, and when they do get attacked, they are caught off guard. Guan arrives to report that he has shot the guard posts as ordered, and now that the mission is accomplished, they can leave. In Wang's mind, the four gangs will be forced to act, and the Tiger Red gang and the Giant Bear gang are engaged in a fierce fight. They definitely won't give up before destroying each other. The fight between the Crazy Shark gang and the Flyer Eagle gang is about to begin. Everything is going according to his plan, and the four gangs are playing into his hand. Some time has passed, and Wang is practicing his aim when Miao arrives and tells him he'll only waste ammo practicing like that. The protagonist asks her what she's doing here so late and apologizes if he woke her up. With envy-inducing beauty, she says she came to get some air and teach him to shoot. Wang thanks her and teases her for dressing that way. The girl comments that he should thank her because he helped her become who she was before. She quickly grabs the gun and hits the can with precision. In fact, she was a police officer before all this happened. Miao's story unfolds. After the apocalypse began, she and other partners tried to protect ordinary people. However, food became scarcer, and everyone turned against each other for it. They died in front of her, one by one. With the world in chaos, she began to doubt her beliefs, losing sight of why she protected others. She adds that later she met Xiao Bao and the other, and although she still protected them, she lost her will to fight the evil forces. Wang praises her, saying she's amazing for taking care of Xiao Bao and the others despite the gang's cruelty and food shortages. She mentions that the bosses of these gangs were just gangsters before, and she even apprehended some of them. Suddenly, they became the most powerful people in the city, gathering a large group and attacking others. All she could do was witness their atrocities, feeling more useless than ever. Wang Bin tries to cheer her up, saying she's strong and brave. Despite everything, she hasn't hurt anyone, kept her kind heart, and took care of everyone. He adds that she's much better than him and deeply admires her. He thinks living in the moment is more important. To change the subject, he asks if she wouldn't teach him to shoot. She says it's not difficult to practice marksmanship well as long as he knows the basics and follows his instincts. With her help, he could become an elite shooter too. Miao guides him on handling the gun, instructing him to focus all his attention in one place and maintain a horizontal line of sight, muzzle, and target. She asks how he feels and if he felt anything. Wang, all red, says he's feeling something, then pulls the trigger, hitting the can on his first try. Wang is excited because hitting the target feels great. He tells the policewoman that after taking down the gangs in this area, they'll take everyone to a shelter built by the government. She's happy about it and asks if he's willing to take her and the other. Obviously, he says yes. However, now they will set this matter aside because it's time for him to keep practicing his aim with the gun. Besides, his posture with the gun is still wrong. Guan spies on them from behind the wall and comments that she can also help him practice with weapon. It's another day already. The fight between the Tiger Red Gang and the Giant Bear Gang is very intense, with the sound of gunfire and explosions echoing throughout the city without pause. The duo was tasked with stealthily entering the area where the two gangs are fighting to gather information. The Tiger Red Gang, having lost their supplies, wiped out the Giant Bear Gang in one fell swoop. However, they suffered heavy losses in this battle, and only a dozen of their members survived. Moreover, due to the loud noise during the battle, the Tiger Red Gang is surrounded by millions of zombies around a building, and they can't do anything for now. Upon hearing the news, the Crazy Shark Gang, without the Tiger Red Gang and the Giant Bear to hold them back, ends up coming out in full force. Meanwhile, there was a spy from the Flyer Eagle Gang infiltrated into the Crazy Shark Gang, who ends up sending the information to the Flyer Eagle Gang. Meanwhile, Ricardo Milos warns his comrades that the Flyer Eagle Gang is coming to attack them. He angrily questions how they dare to invade his paradise. They are going to blast the backsides of their rival gang. The headquarters of the Crazy Shark Gang appears, and guards are protecting the place. There are only a dozen guards left in the gang's building. So, this is the best time to invade. The bald one is the first to be hit, while the other is cornered and asks Wang Bin to spare his life. Guan passes on the information that there are only 2 guards at that location. The hostage informs that the food is stored with heavy machine guns on the upper floor, and Wang Bin won't be able to grab them, but the goal isn't the food but the gold. At this, the man asks why he wants it. The protagonist tells him he doesn't need to know the reason. After all, he's just a bit player. Arriving at the location, the man says the vault is at the end of the hallway and they haven't touched its contents for a long time. Wang Bin is suspicious, and Miao suggests letting the man walk ahead. Wang Bin feels safer with the policewoman here because she's very cautious when dealing with these things. As they walk, the boy in his thoughts calls the 3 idiots because there's a staircase leading to an upper floor on the opposite side. You can only see it up close. If he reaches the staircase, he can escape and warn the brothers upstairs. Glancing sideways, he introduces himself as being here, as if warning someone. Wang Bin tells Miao to stay put and keep watch while he goes first. However, the man got what he wanted, and now the 3 are chasing after him. Unfortunately for the man, he runs into a zombie, which takes him down. Wang says to wait and that there's something ahead. Screams for help echo through the area and more zombies appear, leaving them puzzled about why these monsters are in this place. Guan asks what they should do now as they are blocking the vault door. Wang replies that for safety, it's better for them to leave. Miao doesn't want to do that. Even though she doesn't understand why he wants the gold, she knows it can help him take down the gang. Therefore, they can't give up now. Guan agrees because this is the best opportunity and it will be very difficult to get another chance. Wang Bin says she's right, and both of them are being very brave, so he can't retreat like a coward. The 3 prepare for the attack and move against the zombie. After struggling, they finally reach the location. And man, Wang is in heaven because there's a lot of gold in this room. They have no idea how to take all this gold. Miao adds that there must be at least 40 tons of it all. Wang wonders how much that is, and it's about 16 billion. Miao comments that before the apocalypse, all this gold was supposed to be returned to the government, and they both look at her strangely. But it turns out she had a police mentality again. Returning to the subject of gold, Wang Bin calls up the system because he wants to know how much gold is here. The system responds that there's a total of 46,250 pounds of gold and, if he wants to make an upgrade, Wang Bin warns Miao that they won't move the gold, and she doesn't understand why, especially since they worked so hard to get to this place. Guan also says that even if we can't take everything, we can take as much as we can. Wang then says that these bars need to be removed from here, but we won't be responsible for the removal. He says there's a mysterious organization supporting him, but he can't give details yet. He adds that his task is to find these gold bars and send them to where they need to go. Then the organization will find a way to send someone to remove these bars. Guan thinks this is why he disappeared for 7 days. She thinks this organization got Wang Bin. Wang Bin agrees and says Guan is very smart. Miao takes the opportunity to say that it's no wonder he can carry so much precious food, and if he can say what this organization does. Unfortunately, he can't answer because he doesn't have clearance from higher-ups, but she should trust him, and he will never use or hurt her. Miao is reassured by this. She trusts him and knows there must be consequences if he talks about it, so she won't ask again. Finally, Wang says he will send the location of the gold, and they should wait outside and protect it for some time. So they will wait, but not for long, as they are in the shark's den. Wang Bin requests a system update and it was successfully completed. Now he just needs to think about the items he wants to store. In that, the items will be automatically placed in the inventory. Obviously, he wants to put all that gold into the item box, and the gold will be sucked into that cube. The system says that all the gold bars have been stored and the 10,000 pounds of gold needed to upgrade the system have already been directly deducted. Wang comments that this item box will be very convenient for carrying things in the future and asks the system if it's still possible to proceed with the upgrade. The system says yes, and he only needs 30,000 pounds to upgrade to the next level. After the upgrade, the lottery system will be opened, and he can start using the lottery with gold. Despite finding it expensive, the young man asks to upgrade immediately. He remarks that his combat power is very weak, always having to rely on Miao and Guan, so he needs to become strong. The system upgrade is completed, and Wang asks to start the lottery system. The young man stands in front of the machine and asks if the lottery system is in this machine. The system confirms it and mentions it costs 100 pounds of gold per draw, but the prizes are plentiful and absolutely juvenile. Wang, looking bewildered, comments that something is wrong because he just spent a lot of money to upgrade the system and now needs 100 pounds of gold per draw. The system asks him to trust because it's absolutely economical, and not to forget the phrase that says money is power. Wang comments that he only needs to enrich himself to become stronger, and now he has enough gold. Moreover, he has been playing since childhood, known as the King of Europe, and has always been very lucky. He pulls the lever of the machine and comments that if he gets a super ability, he will be able to kick gangsters' butts, and even when he returns to the real world, he won't fear young Masterly. Apparently, he has hit upon a super technique, and in awe, he declares himself truly the King of Europe. However, it turns out it's not quite like that. The machine keeps spinning and lands only on an attribute point, gaining a bit of agility. Wang gets angry about this and wants to continue, now wanting to make 10 draws at once. The machine thanks him for the sponsorship, and as he continues winning items, he becomes more desperate. He ends up winning 2 grenades, a night vision scope, a missile spear with 3 missiles, and also a pack of spicy strips. Finally, he wins the skill book and asks the system to open the attribute panel and check it. The system congratulates him as his attribute points have increased. Wang says it only increased 1 attribute point and asks the system to explain this skill. This skill is called Master Marksman. It's at level 1 and increases shooting accuracy by 10%, critical hit rate by 10%, and shooting range by 100 meters. To level up this skill, he needs to defeat 1,000 zombies. The boy analyzes this and says it will take him a while, noting that despite using a lot of gold, he hasn't gotten anything good. He wonders if the probability of a skill appearing will increase next time. Then he asks the system once again for 10 consecutive draws, and 2 minutes pass after that. He seems to feel defeated, kneeling on the ground. In that moment, it's recounted what he achieved: 2 packs of spices, a bottle of mineral water, a rifle ammunition box, which has enough to deal with my zombies and increase skill level. And finally, we have the ability called Vajrapalm. This ability adds 3 points of strength attribute and can shatter stones with a single blow. To evolve this ability, he needs to finish off 1,000 zombies as well. Wang comments that he finally got a self-defense skill to protect himself in both worlds. After spending so much, there's only 4,150 pounds of gold left in the item box. Therefore, he won't use the gold and will leave it for when the system needs it. Wang is concerned about the time because when he thinks about returning to the real world for a day, he remembers that 7 days have already passed here. So, for Guan's and Officer Miao's safety, he needs to destroy the Mad Shark Gang and the Flying Eagle Gang before returning. Changing scenes, we see Miao Police drinking soda, which makes her feel much better. Guan laughs at this situation because Miao's reaction was the same as hers when she drank it too, adding that it would be even better if it were chilled or with ice. Miao says that thinking about how we used to casually drink sodas in the past, but now it's a luxury item. Guonom replies not to worry, Ong is amazing, and just follow him, and you'll still have more sodas to drink. One thing the officer notices is that Guan is always very happy when talking about Wang Bin, making the girl blush. Finally, Miao says it's okay and she knows, but still, Guan says it's not what she thinks. At that moment, Wang Bin appears and asks what they're talking about. Guan asks if he sent the location already, and he replies yes, and we should leave here quickly. Miao says the Mad Shark Gang's base is empty, a good opportunity to set it on fire. But Wang says he has a better idea than that, which is to rescue the Flyweagle Gang now. Miao asks if he misheard, as how does he want to rescue that gang? Guan also says that even though they're the weakest gang, they've still done a lot of bad things. In summary, they should believe in him, as helping the Flywiggle gang is the best way to fight against the Mad Shark gang. Outside, things are ugly, with a war happening between the two gangs. In this, Ricardo Milos appears, saying to bring more ammunition and to finish off the Mad Shark gang. A member next to Xing in a car asks if it's really a good plan to let their brothers advance like this. He replies that these kids are naive, they joined the gang only to be used as cannon fodder by us, the bosses, and that all this talk about gang unity is just brainwashing. In other words, they're just there to draw the main fire, and that the leader of the Flyer Eagle is a simple-minded man who only has muscle. Xing sent this group to death first, just to lure them and focus the enemy troops on the main portal. Since they're few, probably the other 3 portals must be empty and undefended. Xing adds that he has at least 4 times more people than he does, and when they attack the side gates, the Flyer Eagle gang will be destroyed. Hooks are attacked in the building, and underneath the building, men are trying to invade the place. The red-haired man warns over the radio that there are many Mad Shark gang members at the East Gate, and the one who received the warning notifies Ricardo Milo. Here's the translation into English, preserving the original name. He ends up sending someone else to blow them up. 2 men shoot downwards, but are quickly restrained. Meanwhile, those below seize the opportunity to climb. One man says they've finally managed to ascend, but suddenly he gets hit by someone. That guy with the mohawk remarks it must be the one who attacked us last time. Xing, angrily, says there really is someone hiding in the shadows against us. He even throws his partner out of the car to find these people. He adds that whoever finds them will be rewarded with a sack of flour and a bottle of red wine. The gang members get excited, saying those opposing them are on the top floor of the building. Guan says it seems they've been discovered and decides to leave that place to hide. She remembers Wang Bin said she and Miao would attack separately, and after firing once, they should change position so they can't guess their number, so she does as instructed. Next, we see Ricardo Milos sending his subordinates east and west to defend the gates, not letting anyone in. A man arrives and says there's good news. The Crazy Shark gang's attack seems to have been halted. He's not sure, but it seems someone is secretly aiding them. Happy Ricardo says he must be a savior sent by God. Switching scenes, we see Miaoth. Wang Bin is saying the Flyer Eagle gang probably didn't expect him to ask Miaoth and Guan for help in attacking the Crazy Shark gang. He believes they'll surely be able to weaken that gang's power. Wang is on top of the building, waiting for the right moment, and Xing receives information that their weakened side couldn't locate the shooters' positions and has already been hit, injuring over 20 of their brothers. He adds that the Fly Eagle gang has started defending the other gates and asks if they should continue attacking. Xing tells them to keep attacking and shoot anyone daring to flee. Looking out a window, Ricardo Milos wonders why this situation. He doesn't understand why they're slowly gathering here. Soon he asks his brother how much firepower they still have. The reply is not much. In his thoughts, he knows if they attack, he and his brothers won't have a way to retreat. Their only option is hand-to-hand combat. Wang is also present. Judging by the formation, he says this must be the leader of the Crazy Shark gang, and for him to be here, Xiao and Miao have likely disrupted his plans considerably. Xing says it's been a long time since he saw Ricardo. He's here to offer him a way to survive. If his gang is willing to join him, they can live, and his gang will stop the attack immediately. Ricardo will remain their leader. However, he'll need to listen to Xing and address him as master. Ricardo rejects the proposal, saying if Xing has the strength to attack, then attack. After that, Xing tells his brothers that whoever gets the head of that stinky one will be rewarded with 10 sacks of white flour. They advance, and the battle begins. Xing, with his machine gun, fires fiercely, giving his members the opportunity to advance. However, at that moment, a shot from the top of the building is fired. Because Xing was focused on shooting, he didn't notice the attack and ends up being hit. Ricardo says it was a soldier sent by God to help them. With this great opportunity, he sends his soldiers to counterattack. While some are running, others are going to help the badly injured brother Xing. He himself is surprised by this, as he didn't know they had such firepower. Wang appears laughing, saying everything is going as planned. He remarks that the Crazy Shark gang won't be able to threaten others with shame for much longer. Here's the English translation without changing the name. So he'll feel a bit calmer when he returns, Ricardo's brother says. Even though we lost many brothers, we finally managed to win, and the leader responds to grab his magic weapon. At that moment, Wang appears holding his weapon. However, he pays attention to something else. Speakers appear, and Ricardo is saying that, although he doesn't know where he is, he thanks him for his kindness, and if someday he faces any difficulties in the future, he and his gang will help him without excuses. In his mind, Wang says this isn't necessary and leaves the corner after finding it embarrassing. In summary, in this gang battle, both lost many people, but Crazy Shark suffered the most damage. Just to give an idea, there were over 100 people. He has just over 30, but more than half are injured. Since Xing, the chief of Crazy Shark, is seriously injured, and the Fly Eagle gang needs to rest, Wang believes the two gangs would now dare to act, ensuring his safe return. Switching scenes, Wang and his group are celebrating this moment. Master of Miaoth comments that he didn't expect that just the three of them could cause such damage to both gang. He also says it would be a shame if his legs were hurt. If not for that, he would also shoot. Nam's brother is excited about all this and says he also wanted to help, and it would be great if he could finish alone. The girl next to him scolds him because he doesn't shoot well and runs too slowly. She adds that he'd be an easy target. Wang tells them both to stop arguing and that he'll have greater opportunities in the future, adding that maybe they'll trust him in the future to protect them. Changing the subject, Wang says that for a while, Crazy Shark and Fly Eagle gangs should stay quiet, but for safety, it's better to find a new location as soon as possible. Guan asks where he wants to move and where the safest place would be. He suggests suburbs. Although there are more zombies there are fewer living people, with less chance of being attacked. He tells them he'll be gone for a few days and that meanwhile, they should stay there until he returns. When he comes back, he'll bring food for them, and then they can go out to find some of the government bases. Miao asks if he's going to that organization mentioned earlier, and he replies yes. He has to leave for 7 days to recover, but this time he'll take many supplies, including fresh vegetables and meat. So, they should tell him what they want to eat in advance to see if he can bring it. The kids place their orders, and Miao asks for a cold beer, while his master asks for cigarettes. Wang then says he'll try his best to meet all their needs, but he also feels embarrassed about it, as they are risking their lives and only want these things. Now let's put all that aside, as they will celebrate this great victory in the same way. Early the next morning, they will head to the suburbs. Early the next morning, Wang wants to move to that location because of these zombies, as we know if he finishes off many zombies he'll be able to upgrade his skill. For safety reasons, he equipped everyone with the weapons they stole from the Crazy Shark gang. Wang Bin says it's ridiculous to arm such a small child, but in this world they can protect themselves and the people around them if they have weapons. A box is shown, in it there are 10,000 bullets, enough for everyone to use. Wang says that tomorrow morning he wants to clear out the nearby zombies and practice his aim. He asks if they want to go together. Obviously, the kids get excited and want to go, but because there's so much ammunition, Miao asks if he really has all that. Guan says she'll train with Wang Bin, but Miao interrupts and says her aim is very good, so they'll do something else. As Wang will be away for a while, they need to prepare and stock up on food. For this, she asks Guan if she wants to go with her to the nearby mountains to gather some wild vegetable. Wang Bin says it's a good idea and that he's almost sick of eating instant noodle. Here is the translation of the text into English. And for him, wild vegetables would be exotic food nowadays. Guan agrees to go fetch these vegetables, and in his thoughts, he says he wanted to stay with Wang before returning, but apparently that won't happen. Changing the scene, Wang and the others are on top of a building practicing their aim. Guan, worried, says the zombies have surrounded them, but Wang tells them not to be afraid because he wanted this to happen. He shoots a zombie and tells the kids to start practicing. Wang says that since it's easier to move around in the suburbs, he practiced with these two kids all day, and before he knew it, it was night. Over the past few days, Wang and the kids ended up killing zombies in this area every day, using around 3,000 bullets, until almost all the zombies around them were dead. The aim of the two kids is getting better and better. Thus, more and more people will be able to protect the team. And most importantly, Wang managed to improve his skill. With this, a notification appears in the system. The master's shooting skill has reached level 3, increasing shooting rate by 80 points. The critical rate is 80. And the shooting distance is up to 200 meters. Finally, the next update requires killing 5,000 zombies. Changing the subject, now it's time to eat. The three are very excited. Guan says this is the result of a day's work in the kitchen by Officer Miao. And the girl next to him says this food was made especially for brother Wang. Wang Bin is confused. He doesn't understand why. Miao's master arrives and says that since Miao knew he was leaving, she wanted to prepare a delicious meal to bid him farewell. Tearfully, he says that despite being her master, he has never been treated like this and thinks her heart now belongs to someone else. Miao hears this and becomes furious. She asks if he's not going to eat later or if he doesn't want to eat. Is that why he's saying these things? But the man says he's just teasing her. Wang Bin thanks her for what she did for him. And she, with a serious expression, says she used to prepare a luxurious banquet only for inmates. Miao also has to give some credit to Guan. Indeed, she also helped. She then says Guan got all the chicken. Wang puts his arm around Guan's shoulder and says he was already expecting that from her, making her blush. He says they are already siblings who have risked their lives together, and Guan is taken aback because Wang called her sister. After dinner, they show us weapons and Guan asks if Wang is really going to leave all this to them, because he also needs something. But as always, Wang says not to worry. One gun is enough. The protagonist announces he's leaving tonight and will leave the rest to them. Miao comments they will take good care of the place, and Guan asks Wang if she can accompany him because she's worried. Wang says there's no need for that. She can stay here to protect everyone and promises to return in 7 days. Guan seems sad about his departure and tells him to take care and that she'll be waiting for him. Wang Bin has already gone to the room to be sent back to the real world. Meanwhile, the two look at the door and ponder. Miao asks Guan if Wang Bin also left in that manner last time, as if he stayed alone in the room. The protagonist in the room tells the system to initiate the teleportation process and changes scenes completely. He's already in the real world, and once again, he hasn't forgotten his friends. The three are drinking, and Wang ends up drooling because of the delicious drink. Out of nowhere, the protagonist shouts to eat because he is very hungry. One of his friends asks why he is so hungry now that they are home, and that he won't be able to finish all the dishes they ordered. Wang says he wanted to take them to a high-class restaurant, but it's been a long time since he's had dishes with a lot of meat and fish. That's why I brought them here for now. Wang says that in the other world, you need to be careful with zombies and other people at any moment, and to make matters worse, food is scarce. However, in this world, he can bask in the sun and eat whatever he wants, making it wonderful to live in this world. One of his friends asks the other if he doesn't think that suddenly becoming very rich was too much of a stimulus for his brain, which ended up leaving him with mental problems. Changing the subject, the guy tells Wang Bin to be careful now that he has offended young Masterly, because the bully is sending many people to look for him. Wang Bin says to forget about him for now, and asks if they have any plans after graduation. The one in white thinks he will work in a brokerage or a real estate agency. The other wants to start his own business but hasn't decided what to do yet. Wang asks, "Start a business? So, are you not interested in gold and silver jewelry?" His friend asks why he's talking about this suddenly, and Wang responds that he has a source where he can buy lots of jewelry at a low price. If they are interested, the three can open a jewelry store together. One of the guys says he will accept the proposal if he is willing to accept it. Then he will use the money he received to buy part of the share. Man, Wang is the best friend anyone could have. Besides everything he did, he will finance the entire process of opening, and his friends can keep the money he sent earlier. The guy says that opening a jewelry store seems very expensive and asks if he has enough money to invest. To our surprise, he will invest only 20 million. Very little, right? And as a bonus, he will add 4,000 pounds of gold. One already asks the other to calculate how much all that is, and the result is impressive. The current gold rate is 401 per gram. 500 grams is 1 pound. Therefore, 4,000 pounds equals 800 million. The guy asks if that's not wrong, and Wang Bin says not to do the math yet, and to eat first, because afterward he will take the boys to see the rest. The protagonist says that the gold is in his village, which confuses the guy. He even asks if Wang, by any chance, hid the fact that he is the son of a rich family. Changing the scene, the boys are looking at those gold bars, even hugging the gold. And if this is a dream, he doesn't want to wake up. Since he has good friends, he gives a slight kick just to see if he is really dreaming. The guy starts shaking Wang Bin and tells himself how he managed to get so much gold and if he's not breaking the law. The guy stops to think, he might have the courage, but he wouldn't have the skill for that. Wang tells them to go together to choose the store location and issue the permit and other licenses. He adds that he trusts the two of them a lot, so they should talk about other matters after opening the store. The boys say they believe in him, and Xing Ping asks about the shares, because they haven't talked about it yet. Wang Bin says they are his partners and they should think of it as a technical purchase. Wang Bin will give 10% for each of the shares. The guys are surprised by this, even though they are friends. Business is business. All the investment money is from Wang Bin, so it's too much for them to earn 10%. One even asks if they are really capable of being his partner. Despite the guys having these doubts, Wang Bin trusts them. He adds that Kingpin is outgoing, so he will be responsible for store management and the sales team. This excites him, saying he will give his best. As for Hongfei, he is introverted, so he will be responsible for the internal management of the company while learning to be a jewelry designer. Another goal of Wang Bin is when the jewelry store is stabilized, they will open an investment company, and Xing Ping will be responsible for the investment company. With a very strange look, the protagonist says that the three of them will work together, and they will certainly be able to create a strong and wealthy business empire. The two guys hugged Wang Bin, and Hong Fei comments that he really can't think of how to repay him. He adds that even if he gave his body to Wang Bin, he would still be in debt to him. Wang's phone rings and his order has arrived. In this video, we see a truck at his house. Inside it, there is a lot of flour, rice, and noodle. Hong asks why he is buying so many vegetables and fruits and if he is trying to avoid young Master Li. But he is not avoiding him. Anyway, these things are very useful to him. Hong says that since that's the case, they will not worry about him and will take care of the company's business immediately. The protagonist says it's fine, and they will meet at the restaurant near the university entrance tonight. Wang walks with his phone and is talking to someone. This same person tells the protagonist that they are not done here yet. So, it's time to move on and continue walking alone first. They will come later. The young billionaire says it's fine and that they should take their time, as he is enjoying life little by little, anyway. In his thoughts, he says he spent more time in the other world than in this one and feels a bit strange being back in this world. Perhaps after living a long time in another world, his mood has become depressed and sensitive. He wonders if the experience of life and death made him grow a lot because now, looking at these college students of the same age, he feels they are young. Or maybe, now that he is rich, he looks at everyone as if they are inferior. On the other hand, if it weren't for this apocalyptic world, he would also be running after his future in his formative years. A man runs beside him and says he will be late for the interview. And we clearly see it is Wang Bin, but it was just a memory from the past. Wang Bin comments that he was an excellent student in everyone's eyes, but that doesn't matter compared to the effort of all these people. His excellence is simply insignificant, but fortunately, God gave him a chance. Finally, he comments that he wants to be a great all-powerful man in both worlds. He continued walking, and some guys stopped him, asking if he was Wang Bin. Wang Bin comments in his thoughts that this gang of gangsters must be young and stupid Master Li trying to teach him a lesson. Then, he tells these brats that he is Wang Bin and asks if there is a problem. The one you find cute says that the protagonist has courage and didn't wet his pants. He adds that he is Dong's brother from the Haihu gang and asks if they have never heard of it. Wang Bin is direct and asks if Li called him. The bully says that since he was straightforward, he must be ready to be beaten and killed. In the case of young Li, he asked his henchman to tear one of the protagonist's legs. In this case, Wang says that saying they have the capability is not about a leg, because his life can be given to them. The protagonist asks if this is not an inappropriate place and if they want to change location. With that, the bully says he will be mistreated for his arrogance. One of his henchmen asks Dong why this boy is so calm and to be careful of some trick. Surprisingly, he agrees and even asks to call more brother. Time has passed and the bullies appeared next to a truck. Elsewhere, Dong says that Wang Bin has courage and admires him. The protagonist says not to waste time and that everyone can come at once. Finally, Dong says the boy is really brave and that if he hadn't offended young Master Li, he would really like to be friends with Wang. But now it's time to roll, as it's time for a beating. The bullies prepare to attack, and Wang Bin activates his fire hand. He advances and lands a powerful blow on one of the henchmen, sending him flying. Dong gets furious and doesn't know what happened, asking if he is a martial artist. Yes, but if he were a martial artist, it would be good. The boy turned into Superman. Continuing, two henchmen attack, and Wang has his back cut. He says this is bad and that it is still very difficult to face 4 people at once. With a slap, Wang already sends another one away. And now it's Dong's turn to attack. He grabs his katana and throws it at Wang Bin. The protagonist says they are weak, and they still call themselves the Haihu gang, and he thinks they should be called Hello Kitty. The young man then kicks and breaks the ball, causing Dong to scream in pain. But it's not over yet. The young man prepares a slap and hits the aggressor. Wang Bin yells for them to continue if they can, and the aggressors are afraid to move forward. Other cars arrive and the bald guy says that now the young man is finished. One of the bullies asks if it was the boy who hit him, and the broken Dong says they took too long to arrive. The bully can't forget and says that now there are many brothers here, and they will see what he is capable of doing about it. And if before he only wanted to tear off one of his legs, now he wants to kill him. Due to the firefighter's skill not being at a high level, he has no problem with up to 6 of these bullies, but with so many people like this, he might get overwhelmed. Therefore, in this situation, Wang Bin only has to bet. Dong tells his brothers to advance and that it doesn't matter if they are dead or mutilated because he will take the blame if anything happens. When 2 henchmen advance, Wang Bin takes a high shot, which scares them. Another guy asks Dong the origin of the boy and why he didn't say before that he had a gun. But it turns out that not even Dong knew this. At that moment, Wang Bin said, "If they are not afraid to die, come forward." And you can believe there is ammunition for all of them. In an attempt to encourage his companions, Dong tells his brothers not to be afraid, and even if he has a gun, it could be a toy replica. They are also outnumbered, so they don't need to be afraid of him. Dong said so much that, to learn, he was the first to get shot, and Wang asks who is next. The brothers help him up, and with great determination, he says they will finish the boy today. With that, Wang points the gun at him and suddenly Dong loses his memory, and asks the boy if he doesn't want to forget about it. Wang pretends he is going to shoot, to give that little scare, and the brave men finally give up. Wang also tells them to leave because the gang has more people. It's for them to go back to school. With that, they start to cry. One of them even calls his mom wanting to go home. Dong also cries, but out of anger, and Wang Bin, with a crude expression, tells them to go to hell. One of the bullies says that now that Wang Bin has taught them a lesson, they can leave, and Wang Bin, with a stern face, asks why they haven't left yet. In no time, they have already run to the car and left. Now Wang Bin can tell us the truth. He was terrified, but his luck was that the bullies were even more scared. Otherwise, today would really be his end. Xing Ping calls him, shouting that they heard from schoolmates that he had been taken by a group of people and asks if he is still alive. Wang tells them not to worry and that he defeated all those people. Xing Ping asks if this is serious and if he is okay. Well, to say he is okay, he can't, especially since he can't get a taxi. And finally, he asks if his friend can pick him up. Thank you for making it this far. Don't forget to subscribe and share the video. Thank you very much and see you next time.